Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Living World of Darkness, Mage from the Ashes. Today's episode starts with James bringing a whole heap of supplies through the portal into the grounds in front of the temple. He has grabbed a whole bunch of tiki torches, a lighter, his crystal, and he's dressed in rather loose clothing, not his normal suit that he usually wears. And he's set up a space in the grass, sort of in the center of the temple grounds, but not the exact center, off in the grass. And he set the tiki torches in a circle, and he's currently seated in the middle of them, with one directly in front of him lit. And he's been there since early morning, as soon as he could basically get the tiki torches from Home Depot and get them back to the chantry. And if anybody is looking for James, that's where he is. He hasn't told anybody that's where he is, but if anybody happens upon him, and as he's practicing, he will begin to chant softly, and this chanting can be heard by anybody that walks onto the temple grounds. And I'm going to do some rolls.
Well, as early as James is at the is at like the temple, Ava is already there. There are, like, she's sitting near the portals. There are a few bottles next to her. She's horribly underdressed, but luckily the snow is not as cold as it should be, although she does have a blanket wrapped around her. And she's just kind of staring into the mists. And yeah, she'll look around when she starts to hear the chanting. Yeah, probably turns a little bit so that she can see what James is doing.
But he's just chanting for now. He doesn't really he doesn't bother Ava with what he's doing. He seems pretty focused on what he's doing. But yeah, this chanting is 4 successes.
Pretty chanting.
So it's very good. And next will be the Arate roll. This is at a difficulty 7 for the first time that he is attempting this. But with the 4 successes, does it go down to 3, or can he only apply 3 successes, do you think?
As far as I know, it goes down to 3.
Okay.
So your difficulty is 3.
Difficulty is currently 3.
Yeah.
You turn.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to say that Grace has decided pretty much it would be good to get some air, and it's kind of a safe-ish way to do it there, you know? So she's pretty much decided she's going to go, she has a book with her, and she's pretty much heading into the portal down there, with the anticipation of finding some place to sit and just read away from everything. It doesn't seem she's going to get that luck with the sound of the chanting and everything that appears to be happening. But yeah, she'll sort of stop in her steps when she notices off one direction, and then James off another. She just kind of stops sort of somewhere in between and kind of looks back and forth, not quite certain where to go at this point.
It's at this point that the flame will begin hopping to the unlit torches, and slowly the torches that are surrounding him begin to light one by one. Of their own accord. He just continues chanting. So.
Yeah, I'm not interrupting that.
Not interrupting that.
Well, no, you're clearly practicing something. That would be really rude.
That's fine. Well, I'm going to do another Arte roll here.
I was going to say, let's interrupt the mage that is like literally playing with fire. It does not sound like very healthy life choices there.
I could battle your fire with my fire. Shall we do that?
All right, that's another 2 successes. And yeah, so the flames are lighting, and the moment that they get to a full circle of fire, slowly the flames begin to leave the wick, and the chanting turns into a singing. Again, there are no words to the song, but there is a flowing nature to the song itself. And slowly the flames begin to leave the torches, leaving them unlit, and they come to hover above James's outstretched hand. Another Arte roll. And that's a total of 6 successes. And as they leave, he gathers each one of the small flames above the palm of his hand until the point where there is a small blaze hovering above his hand. And he's staring at it as he's singing to it. He looks around, he sees the two of you, and looks back at the blaze, keeps singing, but there's a distinct look of he doesn't know what to do with this now. So the singing stops, and he clenches his hand, and the flame goes out. And because I have the successes to do it, all of the tiki torches are relit simultaneously.
Ava's been, like she's watched James's performance, I'd almost say. From time to time, she takes a sip from whatever bottle she's holding at the moment. But as the singing stops and the flames return back to normal, she'll actually notice Grace and very deliberately turns away from them, and returns like leaning against one of these statues, staring into the mists.
Yeah, when James seems like he's, obviously paying a bit more attention to his surroundings now, she'll kind of wave to him, so as to not ignore him. But she's going to head over to Ava, totally taking note of the body language, since you're, I'm guessing it's not requiring any rolls to translate that.
Yeah, the translation is pretty much very simple. I think any idiot could understand that.
Fair enough.
Ava does not want to talk.
That's fine, but no, she's heading over anyway. I get it. And so does she. But yeah,
James will wave.
And she's just going to stop a few feet away from her, not close enough to touch or anything. And she's just going to say very quietly, I tried to check on you last night. And I see you don't want company, and I won't bother you. But if you do want to talk, let me know. And she won't even wait for an answer. She'll just turn and head back over towards James.
Okay, there's no answer really coming from Ava, so
Okay.
just another swing of the bottle.
Grace is guessing there's alcohol involved. But
perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah, she'll turn and head over to James to, just kind of slowly, though. It's not like she's running from Ava. She's not. She's just sort of slowly walking, kind of casually glancing behind her. And then she'll just kind of look at James and be like, so you were just gathering flames, or were they for a purpose?
I'm practicing. I'm to be tested by the Magister of the Hermetic Chantry in Ithaca to see if I can join the Order of Hermes.
And they're going to be testing that? I guess I don't know much about the Hermetics.
I'm not entirely sure. But being able to make a fireball seems
useful.
Seems like a good start. And I've been told that I should probably start working on not being afraid of using magic offensively.
It's definitely something I need to look into, but I'm a bit behind you, I think, in my learning.
Do you know anything of the Forces Sphere?
I do.
What do you have?
I've picked up a few tricks here and there. I'm not sure what you want me to do here.
What can you do?
So I'm trying to find my stupid post because my brain isn't working right now. There it is. Well, I can see heat. That's certainly a start, I would say. And
Definitely.
I've worked on a few ideas as to other things,
Okay.
but I haven't gotten very far with it yet.
He nods. See if you can follow this. And he begins to whistle. It's in a rhythm, seems to go bum, 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 with his whistling. And I'm going to roll Arte. This is at a difficulty 7. There's no practice roll involved with this rope. This is the first time he's doing it, and it's a vulgar effect, so it is difficulty 7. He gets 1 success, but he keeps going. There seems to be a slight increase in the breeze around him. The air seems to buffet his hair just a little bit. So if Grace wants to attempt to watch him via Force's sight, now would be a good time to start.
Yeah, she could do that. Forgot actually. Give me a second. Yeah, she will have to pull out her. Well, wait a minute. No, it's being heat. Actually, she'll have to pull a little baggie out of her bag, and
Okay.
Basically it's just a Ziploc bag, and she'll open it and pull out some. There's some, like, just like a little finger full of ashes, which she'll rub across her eyes. And I've done this before, so it's not practice or anything. Are we in Mage Dice Roller?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess 2 successes. And she is now able to see heat.
She's watching heat?
Heat.
Okay, if she's only watching heat, then she could probably see
heat and light, but
James, yeah, James's body heat, as well as the heat from the torches that are lit. His body heat is being cooled in several areas where the wind is starting to surround him. And I will roll Arte again. It is 2 successes, so total of 3 successes. And the wind now becomes more as it begins to toss the loose shirt he's wearing and toss his hair as it's surrounding him. And he keeps up the whistling of dum, 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 and the rhythm of it as the breeze begins to grow and grow. And he reaches his hands out. And it's the final Arte roll for this. No successes on that, but I still have 3 successes. And he brings his hands together and claps. It's a very loud clap. And the breeze disperses and immediately turns out all of the torches simultaneously and blows them to an angle that almost tosses them out of the ground. I would assume that Grace is buffeted by the wind. a little.
Yeah, I imagine so. It just kind of goes whoosh, and her hair blows all back.
Yeah, probably same with Ava.
Yeah.
Whole, yeah, again, kind of look around, and she sees that Grace's attention is now focused on James. She'll actually, yeah, again, kind of like, stay and watch. Actually picks up the blanket. She's barefoot here, and takes a few steps closer.
And yeah, she'll just be like, well, if you were looking for a description of what I can see, you were clearly being cooled by a lot of that wind.
You could only see heat?
That's what I was doing. Yeah, I see heat.
You couldn't follow the pattern of the wind?
I wasn't looking for that. I mean, I could, I suppose, if I were to figure out a way to do that works for me.
How does it work for you?
Ashes. I invoked fire.
You invoked fire.
Mm-hmm. I invoke the elements a lot.
Interesting.
Among other things, but that's certainly one part of it.
So, and he paces out of, he walks out of the circle. You probably noticed that part of his, like, he is a little sweaty. It looks like he's been doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes over to a bag where there's a cloth. He wipes his hands, and he wipes his face. So if you were to follow wind,
I would probably need to invoke air.
and if ashes invoked fire, what would you use to invoke air?
That one's actually easier. It's an idea I've been working on for something else. I mean, and she will, purse her lips and blow out, creating her own wind, basically, which is obviously an air kind of thing. That's probably the easiest way of representing air for me. Doesn't require as much planning ahead like the ashes does, as she holds up the bag.
I don't know much, but I would say, given what magic is to all of us, you shouldn't ignore the ritual you've already set in place.
I'm not ignoring anything, I don't think.
How would you mark the wind upon your eyes? If you're marking fire on your eyes, how would you mark wind?
That's a valid point. When I want to see life, or hear life really, I use blood, but not on my eyes. I hear heartbeats.
Interesting.
So, blood on my ears because blood represents life. And also my heart. As she kind of touches, her upper chest with her hand.
He nods.
It's kind of a feeling and a hearing as compared to a seeing.
That makes a little sense to me.
So you're right. Sorry.
When I do magic, I seek to play the chords that I hear. Fire, to me, has a chord of passion. Wind, a chord of a sharp chord. Maybe feathers?
That's a good idea. Feathers would work for me. Or, yeah, I was going to say I could like whistle or something, but that wouldn't actually invoke any form of sight or sense of any variety.
You can hear whistling.
It's true. I'll have to think about it.
It's loud enough, you can even feel it.
True, I do have something I've been wanting to try. I haven't yet.
What's that?
She's actually going to reach into her bag and pull out some homemade candles. Is there any place around here that casts a shadow? Like probably a building or something?
Yeah, I would assume the temple.
Yeah,
Cast shadow.
there's temple, there are the statues, there's, yeah.
Okay. She's going to kind of glance to him and then walk over to some place that has shadows already, because this will work better if she's already in a shadow. And she'll pull out her lighter. And the thing is, in these candles, they're not just homemade. You can see that like they have like there's little like looks like some kind of seeds in it and some sort of herb kind of stuff in there as well. Unless you know much about herbs, you might not know what it is, but you know, it's clearly stuff mixed into it. And she is going to light the candle in front of her. And I'm going to roll at this point. I since it's the first time, I'm assuming diff 7. And can we get paradox here? Is that like something about this place? Because that's a thing that will probably happen since it's vulgar.
It's a Horizon realm, no paradox.
That's why I was asking. Okay, so since
I
it's the
just
first
noticed
time,
that there was an ST here.
yeah, that's why I saw him all like, oh, good, because I actually need ST is useful at the moment. Okay, so my difficulty was 7 and it did not work. So at least it wasn't a botch. So she's going to sort of look at her candle and, you know, with 2 fingers sort of put out the flame.
Don't give up. Try it again.
Yeah, she's going to take a deep breath and sort of try to center herself for a moment before concentrating again. Hey,
Duncan told me that trying something again after you've tried it again, if it's a vulgar effect, it's difficulty 6. So.
Oh, well, then that'd be 2 successes. At which I'm going to describe the effect, but I'm hoping the ST can give me the actual, like, mechanical whatever of it. Basically, shadows, instead of flame, like, the flame is still there, but the flame is not producing light. It's producing shadows. And the shadows start forming, like, around her, making her harder to see. And I don't know if there's any negative. In theory, there's a negative to her stealth bonus. Or, you know what I mean. It should be harder, a lot harder to see her. Yeah, I said it all wrong. I just don't know what the actual stats would be on that.
James will whistle. Good job.
She sort of grins. I'm not sure if you can see that, though, but she's actually pretty proud of herself back behind these shadows she's in. Because it's like her first Forces 2 effect. And, yeah, but after a couple of minutes, like, it's because it's still going, but she'll kind of walk out of the shadows. I'm imagining with shadows gathered around her in the sun, it's kind of obvious that there's a shadow ball right there. Because logically that makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, with that, she will actually, do the click her fingers again and put out the flame, which I hope would stop the effect. Because there's no point in being stealthed at this moment. And she will she'll just hold up the candle and say, "This has sesame seeds and ginger in it." And of course, I invoked fire to kind of work in reverse, if you know what I mean.
Instead of producing light, producing shadow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Which, in theory, in the right, obviously, if it's dark or if there's other shadows, I can blend. But it's kind of showy.
If it works, don't knock it.
Sometimes you need showy, I guess.
Definitely.
I feel like your fireball would have been useful the other day.
Other day?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
If aimed the right way, might have killed those assholes without us having to get near them.
James will sort of frown. Yeah.
But obviously we have to be careful with fire.
It was more my unwillingness to use magic to kill. And that's my fault.
Is everybody blaming themselves for what happened there? And Grace says that a little louder than maybe she meant to, but that's maybe not entirely unplanned because she knows that Ava is over there.
Yep, you'll hear the crashing of bottle on stone as it kind of spats broken on the floor. As Ava kind of accidentally dropped a bottle when you said that.
Everybody's blaming themselves, and the simple fact is, what happened sucks, but it's nobody's fault but theirs. Probably said that a little too loud too. At this point, it's probably not even on purpose. It's probably on purpose, so it's, you know.
I suppose you're right.
Yeah, I am. I might be new at this, but I know bad guys when I see them. With the exception of Misha, we all made it out, right? And Misha's something that, I mean, that sucks. That should not have had to have happened. I feel horrible for Boris, but I don't know. I just know that it's not our fault.
But it is. Not yours. I saw something in a dream, and I followed it, and I pushed Julie and Nausicaa to come along. I was the one responsible for this. Went too fast, too quick. Went without thinking. Just kept pushing.
And yet they're the ones who took you.
Which we all knew would happen. We all knew that whoever of us would get caught would be taken away by them. When the forecast says rain, you go out without an umbrella, can expect to get wet. Can't blame the rain for it. It's not the rain's fault it's falling.
It is the rain's fault. If they are part of a very large group that wants us all dead. In that case, it is every raindrop's fault. Just because you're part of a storm doesn't make it any less the raindrop's fault. In that scenario. You didn't try to murder them, and they would murder you if they could. Or torture you. In fact, they have. I guess the point is comparing them to Rain. Not a very good comparison.
She has a point.
Grace looks confused as to who he's talking to.
He's looking at Ava.
She'll look towards Ava and just say, Boris didn't even blame you. Boris blamed them for what happened to Misha. Why do you think he did what he did?
Another point.
Boris blamed my sisters.
He's not perfect. For sure. We know that.
Doesn't even allow me to help them.
Why can't you help them?
Not allowed to stay with them.
That doesn't mean you can't visit them and make sure that they have what they need and try to find them places that they can do their own thing.
He said if I didn't come back here, he'd kill them. Why? Why is everybody so intent on killing? She actually looks at James as she says that.
He lets out a sigh. I told you. My initial reaction to them shouldn't have been to pull my guns and to try and shoot them. However, I do see part of where Boris is coming from. We're not entirely sure if they're a threat or if they're completely benign. Ava. And that's just the fact of the matter. We don't know what was done to you. We don't know what was done to create them. And until we do, it would be foolish of us to let them to treat them as though they were not a threat.
We're human.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, we're human.
So he did want to say that. Just wanted to be less blunt about it. Do you think they have a soul, James?
I think a soul is a very difficult thing to create.
That is fair. I hadn't really considered that part. But that doesn't mean I would assume it's not there either.
How
I
are we
wouldn't
created?
necessarily say it wasn't there.
Aren't we, our bodies, simply process of biochemical reactions?
No.
You've been talking a little bit too much to Nausicaa.
It may be Elijah.
Maybe Elijah.
But in essence, our bodies, we have been created. Maybe not in a lab, but we're still created. There's no God or something that has put us together, that has pulled us out of a flower or out of his rib or whatever you want to make of it.
Okay, we probably shouldn't go this far. Let's put it that way, because there's a lot of beliefs around here, and we can totally get into that belief, but
Out at this point that Ava sounds like she's drunk.
fair enough. Which makes my words make more sense. Maybe we shouldn't talk religion right now.
Maybe
we can
we
happily go ahead.
Maybe we shouldn't. He's just agreeing with you.
Maybe we can discuss our beliefs at a later date.
Why?
The point is...
at a later date? Why not now?
Why not now? Because he looks over at the gathering of bottles. I'm guessing there are some empty at this point and some that are not.
Yeah.
Because you, my dear, have proven that I am nothing but a bad influence.
Do we even have a soul? Perhaps we don't. It's just they haven't taken our souls away from us.
Well, we have avatars for sure.
Yeah. Residue. Could simply be residue. And who says they can't have at some point?
Ava, or actually Saskia.
Yeah.
Dangerously.
I would like to point out before you correct anything I'm saying is that Ava is completely drunk and whatever she's saying is absolutely incorrect. And the player knows this.
Fair enough. The moment you say that avatars are a residue.
Oh Jesus.
Could be. But sure, yeah, go ahead.
Somebody's about to get a mental smack in the back of the head.
Oh boy.
You know that opera part that we like very, very much?
What?
That opera part we like very much?
Oh, wow.
She starts hearing it.
Oh, God.
It's getting loud.
Yeah, she'll grab her head. Oh. Shut up.
Gets louder.
I said shut up. Oh.
James is looking at her quite concerned.
Yeah, a little bit both, but here too. I still have that because I had 2 successes, I think, on our heat site. Is there anything weird going on over there?
Nope, not as far as I can tell.
Just figured I'd check since it's still up.
Although, if you still have it up, you could probably tell if you look at Ava that like, I mean, she is underdressed in the cold and has been drinking alcohol.
Yeah, drinking throws off your heat pretty hardcore anyways. So probably your feet look really cold, but the rest of you looks really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hypothermia as a bitch.
Yeah, Grace is gonna kind of walk over and if she allows, gonna kind of put an arm around her, like kind of like, hey, you need help?
No, she'll shrink away from that as she's still holding her head and trying to get that music to stop.
Yeah, she won't force it.
It gets annoying to the point in which you semi-unconsciously start humming the tune.
Mm-hmm.
And for James and Grace, I was starting to hum a tune. You've heard it somewhere before. Roll me intelligence academics to figure out what that tune is.
I think Robert has BRB'd.
Well, I got exactly -1 successes. So
Uh,
it's not a fail though. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not a botch though. It's just a fail.
yeah. Probably one guy where Grace's used to work had this as a ringtone. That's where you know it from.
Weird. It's just like, I know that song, and then kind of leave it at that. Because that doesn't tell me anything.
She's humming a ringtone, out of all things.
Well, I mean, with -1 successes, but not a botch. It seems legit. I swear, I'm going to stop doing scenes with you, Lupu, because I'm always botching things around you. Everything's a botch.
You get a botch. You get a botch. Everybody get a botch.
I got back-to-back botches yesterday, remember?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're one of the few people that managed to botch a backlash roll, so
Yeah.
consider yourself lucky.
I do feel very lucky. I'm not gonna lie, considering what that botch could have been. I mean, we've all had the bad botch.
Oh, yes.
You're preaching to the choir when it comes to botches.
Yeah, I know.
Master of botches.
Yeah.
Master.
You wish.
Yeah, so I
She
was
just
holding her head and humming this weird ringtone.
Probably sinking to her knees at this point, as it, like, yeah.
right.
You stop. You don't hear it like a single. Let's give you a bit of context, Saskia. At first, it sounds like a single tune, like a flute is singing it. It slowly but surely turns into a whole freaking orchestra.
Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that.
I don't know how much Ava would get out of this, but I'm giving you references to you, the player.
Do you remember if I ever rolled academics myself to realize what kind of tune this is? Because I forgot.
I think Ava pretty much knows what tune this is.
Okay.
I think it was previously mentioned. I think you rolled it the first time you heard it, actually.
Yeah, I think so too, but I wasn't sure, so I just wanted to check with you. But if we both agree on this, then yes.
I think Rob could roll if you want now. Rob appears to be here.
What am I rolling and why?
Intelligence academics, because Ava's is humming a tune, and you feel like you might know it.
And please do better than me. The only place I recognized it from is some guy that I used to work with had it as a ringtone.
Intelligence academics?
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything specialized in music.
Yeah. Would encyclopedic knowledge come into play?
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't even try my anthropology.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Oh, good.
She's humming a certain aria from Bizet's Carmen. But I need to remember how they translate it into English.
You don't have to translate it in English. I mean, unless you're gonna say it in Romanian, in which case I would know it.
Yeah.
No, it's love is a rebellious bird. Everybody knows it. It's the
Da da
one
da
of-
da
Yeah,
da
yeah,
da
yeah.
da
That's the one.
da
Yeah,
da
that's the
da
one.
da da. Yeah.
That's the one.
So, character knows it from role. Player knows
Right.
it from name.
Player has no idea what that is.
Oh, wow.
PC knows it from a ringtone. I'm useful.
I just had an image of Grace acting like Ryle from The Simpsons. I'm helping.
Basically, yeah. I want a twirl.
I'm in danger.
I see leprechauns. They make me burn things.
We could do Ralph all day long. Maybe we should stop.
But yeah, so he'll sort of look over at Grace and then look to Ava, and he's gonna start gathering up the bottles.
He's questioning what's in the bottles.
The percussion of that orchestra starts sounding less like your usual orchestra percussion and more like typewriter noises.
Oh, jeez.
Still maintaining the rhythm.
She shakes her head, trying to get rid of it. Like, it won't stop. Why won't it ever stop?
Why won't what stop?
Song.
What song?
In my head. There's a song in my head.
If you want, Saskia, you can roll me your regular ability.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
That's gonna be fun. What did you roll for that? Perception awareness, right?
I think it's Perception Awareness Div 7, but let me double check. Yeah, Perception Awareness Div 7.
Okay. Check my. Well, that's 3 successes.
Nice. You figured out that the whole part about the avatar is like a part of a soul or like remnants of a soul or however you worded it.
Residue.
Residue, yeah, residue, because that's even more insulting.
Yep.
So much better.
You have a feeling that your own avatar might not exactly like being called a freaking piece of trash, for lack of a better word.
Oh God. Yeah. She still holds her head. It's kind of swaying back and forth in pace with the music. She's saying, "Stop, stop, stop, please. I'm sorry."
The music gets less and less loud.
God.
Not stopping, but you can at least hear the people around you now.
So, yeah, she slowly removes her hands from her head, looks up at the two of them.
James has sort of all the bottles gathered in his arms.
Grace will just hold out her hands, like, or actually she'll open up her bag and, if there's just too many of them, so that he can drop some in there.
Ava
will,
reaches out her hand.
No, you've had
Please.
enough for the day.
No, please, please.
No. I have a feeling if I let you continue, Nausicaa will do bad things to my electric devices.
You don't understand. Please.
I don't understand what exactly.
I don't want to hear this. Not now.
Music gets louder.
Come on, please.
What
Please.
music? You
You start
to
humming again.
Please, just make it stop. Please.
I can't make it stop if I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. I've been hearing this on and off ever since we came here.
Since we came here, as in like the temple?
No.
Since we came to the chantry?
Yes. Sometimes there's a different sound, though. Completely different, but it's always this.
Could that be... And he looks at her. Could that be your avatar?
I don't know. It could be. But...
No, Saskia, your oracular ability tells you it's your avatar. They are pissed off.
I think my avatar is mad at me.
Have you tried asking it why?
Or apologizing?
And not drinking yourself into a stupor? I know that's weird coming from me, but...
I don't know how to talk to it. Last time, when I saw it during my seeking, it looked like my great-grandmother, and that was not Bizet.
Well then.
As far as I know, she didn't have any connection with him.
With who?
Bizet.
I'm sorry. Player doesn't understand. Beset?
Bizet? I don't know how
Bizet.
to pronounce it in English. Sorry.
It's bizet usually. You don't pronounce
I
it
don't know.
in French, but aka the guy who wrote Carmen.
Yeah.
Bizet. No. I don't think I don't think that's what it's trying to tell you.
Please. Can you please tell me what you're trying to tell me with this? I don't know. It's driving me crazy.
Well, think about it. What's the song about?
Carmen? I don't know.
Why don't we look into it if you don't know? If we go walk back out of here, we can look it up on the computer super fast, or there's a book in the library. One or the other. We can find out.
The music gets painfully loud.
Yeah, Ava just kind of screams and then, doubles over again, hands on her head.
Ava, let us help you out of here so we can try to find out what's going on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Saskia, roll me your wits, please.
Okay.
Straight wits.
Which is 7.
That was kind of a half-assed apology. Maybe if you meant it.
Look, I'm sorry. Okay. I really am sorry. Please stop this.
The music
Please.
stops completely.
And she sort of relaxes from being all tense, I assume.
Oh, yeah. It's gone. Thank you.
So our avatars don't like us talking bad about them. That's a good thing to know.
I'm feeling lucky that I have never insulted mine. She was a strange lady, but I don't think I'd insult her.
I didn't mean to. I just...
James shrugs. I don't think I've even met mine yet.
Huh. I didn't realize I was all that special, I guess. But... She helped me that first day. She got me away from the suits. And gave me something to throw back at them. And, well, let's just say that a very large bush decided to eat them and pull them into the ground.
That'd do it. That'd do it.
Yeah. I can't imagine not. I don't know. On the other hand, she also liked Caleb's ass. So, you know, there's multiple sides to this woman.
I don't understand.
Your avatar looked like Caleb's ass?
No, liked Caleb's ass. Didn't say she looked like.
Oh, okay.
No, she was a very interesting looking woman with one tooth. She was really old and had this gigantic voluminous robe.
Just sort of raises an eyebrow.
She just shrugs like, I don't know.
Okay.
And apparently she likes younger men.
Again, he'll shrug. I mean, okay. And James is going to go over to the river and
speaking of that, I don't know if I ever got to tell you. I meant to. There's nothing wrong with Paris that I could see regarding what we were trying to find out about the river, because he drank from it. Yeah. So it might even be safe for us to drink from it, but I'm not sure. I didn't see any bad effects, at least.
That's interesting that she says that, because James, having walked over to the river, comes back with a cup of water.
When you mentioned river, I suddenly remembered. Yeah, right by the river.
And well, I mean, I presume it's for her. I don't know, actually.
Yes.
Okay. She'll take the water and yeah, she's just gonna drink it. Her throat hurts from screaming, and she's thirsty as fuck. Which sounds really wrong.
It did.
God damn it! You get what I mean.
Especially after the conversation in the Mage chat.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
I mean, James can leave if you want him to.
Who says wait a minute, who says that it's just going to be two of us if we're going to go that route?
Okay, no, let's not go this route.
No, that's not at all my character. That's me out of character talking. In character now.
But yeah, he'll hand her.
Do not corrupt the sanctity of this temple.
Talk to the ecstatics. This is not corruption. This is devotion. Okay, sorry. Getting out of my ecstatic mindset.
Hey, it can work that way for Verbena too.
True.
They're the mages of life. It's technically practicing for bringing more life into the world.
Exactly. So. Exactly.
But
yeah.
So he'll hand her the glass of water. By the way, I've been meaning to ask: is Paris special?
No. Well, I mean, I think I understand what you mean with special. She, in between gulps. He's not. He's a regular dog.
Oh, so he's not like Misha.
No. No, Paris is. Nausicaa gave him to me.
Okay.
Comes from the pound.
Okay.
By the way, Boris is back.
Boris is back.
Mm-hmm.
Where was he?
Apparently he went technocrat hunting because he was a little angry about Misha.
Right.
He wasn't in very good condition, but he is healing.
Okay.
And actually, the three of you hear loud footsteps. And you see Boris using very large piece of wood that looks held together by an assortment of different types of duct tape and nails and so on and so forth. Basically a very, very improvised crutch. And yeah, James, because you haven't seen him since he was back, you notice the fact that his right arm is completely missing.
That's going to get a concerned look.
Alpha just looks at Boris approaching. Looks back at the bottles. And yeah. Already
They've been stored away. They've been.
You'll look in the direction where they're stored away.
Are they in my bag now? Grace's bag, which is over her shoulder.
James is probably holding one of them because he's slowly swinging out of it.
Oh!
That is so weird.
Yeah, no, in that case, Alpha will get up and she will get that bottle from James and just take, like, a couple of, like, big...
No, and he'll actually...
sit back.
He will hold it above her head. No.
I was going to say, it sounds like
above her head.
It sounds like we need a strength check at this point, because she went for it before you said that.
I mean... Can I just point out that Alpha is freakishly tall?
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, he's 1.80 meters.
I don't know what that is, but I'll find out.
6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, that's real tall.
So good luck holding something above her head.
I mean, James is up there. I'm not playing a short character. I am short, but I'm not playing a short
okay, all right.
character.
For
So
once,
how tall is
for
he?
once
How
I'm
tall
off.
is he?
I think. Let me double check here.
He's suddenly going to be 6'1", just so we can hold it over her head. Hold it over
No.
her.
I'm gonna go with the actual face claims height. So
Even worse, probably. I usually play shorties, but Ava, she's from Sweden. Swedish girls are tall. And this
Fucking
is
Viking.
stereotyping. I don't care.
okay, fair enough. He's only 5'10".
That makes me the shortest one here, and I'm 5'5".
Welcome to the
Normally,
league.
I play the short people too, but this is actually a kind of a taller.
He's still doing his best. He's still doing his best to keep it away from Ava.
I mean, she's not gonna fight him over it. She's just like, yeah, she really looks like this is like the worst day of her life at this point.
Okay, Grace is going to look at her, and she's actually going to just. I mean, does she seem like she's sobered up a bit? Like,
I think
from all
something
the
like
music.
that probably does sober you up quite something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boris limps his way towards you.
At this point, if she looks like she's sobered up some, Grace will fish one of the bottles out and hand it to her if she wants it, because she is an adult. She's an adult.
She's not allowed to drink. In the
Grace
States,
doesn't care at this point. We're not even in this world right now. Laws do not apply in this realm.
Fine. Not my fault.
Fine. I don't care. If she wants to talk to me about it, that's fine. But she can decide for herself what she wants to do. She just had water. She's a lot more sober.
It's not how water works, but that's okay.
I didn't say that was why. I'm saying the two things are separate, but both good.
I mean, I can assure you, as soon as Boris is like within earshot, Ava will like take a step back and be more silent. So yeah.
Yeah, well, these two are equivalent, like going back and forth like apparently parents or something. Which sort of suits Grace. She is older than pretty much everybody in this chantry except for Boris.
Yeah, and yeah, Boris, as he limps towards the three of you, he just gives a bit of a nod to all three of you.
He'll get a little bit of a smile from Grace because she's still glad to see him. It was pretty kind of weird for a few days there.
Absolutely nothing. No response from Ava. She's not even looking at him.
How you feeling?
You can say things got a little out of hand.
You save those up for when you lose arms, don't you?
Maybe.
Really?
What is good joke?
You're getting dubious looks.
And he takes off his coat. And he's got this shirt on. And he takes off the shirt as well. And basically sits on the ground cross-legged. It takes him a while to get on the ground. He tries to like gently sit, but you just hear a loud thump as he falls flat on his ass. And he gestures to Grace. Just says, Grace.
Hmm?
Do you mind helping me a little?
Sure. What you need?
From his boot, he pulls out his Bowie knife, machete, freaking short sword, Boris-sized knife. And he grabs it by the blade and like extends the the handle to Grace.
She'll take it. Just
And
holding the handle. She doesn't want from her here.
and he says, I'm gonna need you to help me fix this. And his eyes fall on his stump.
Okay. I've never done anything like that, but if you tell me what it is I need to do.
Come on, it's good teaching moment.
Everything's a teaching moment with you, it feels like.
Mostly for you.
Okay, fair. She'll move over to that side and kind of
Americans not appreciate anything. There's a bit of a smile.
she just shrugs. I can't help it. I was born here.
He looks at you and says, cut from here to here. And he basically puts his nose on the inside of his elbow and like drags a line with his nose up until his wrist.
Oh, she looks a little hesitant at this, but that doesn't stop her. There's just like that moment of, oh, that's gonna be a long, long cut. But yeah, I mean, she's certainly seen him do it to himself before. So she will carefully do what he says, drawing the knife down his arm.
You see blood coming out. Because, yeah, you just caught one of the major veins in the arm.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had to help my mom for a second.
Oh, it's okay. We're in the middle of attempting to try to help him fix his. Well, Grace is trying to help him fix his arm. There's blood coming out of a big, nasty cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he looks at you as you put the knife down and says, eyes peeled, ears covered.
Eyes peeled, ears covered.
She will cover her ears.
And he will cover his ears.
Ava, are you covering your ears?
I've got a raw curiosity there.
I was gonna say I think Grace would be smart enough to. I mean, I have curiosity too if you want to make me roll it, but
roll
I don't feel that. I'm pretty
Roll
sure
it.
like I don't need it.
Roll it.
It's what it's. Would
Maybe he
be-
doesn't want to share a secret with you.
Right, I'm sure that's it. It's wits, isn't it? My brain. Yeah. Look at that. That's a fail. So what she's going to do, because apparently she's a sneaky bitch, is she's going to cover her ears, but her fingers are just a little bit apart.
Ava will cover her ears.
Okay.
It means I can pretty much hear normally. I'm just trying to make it look like I
Yeah.
am.
And you see Boris's lips starting to move. And you actually, Grace, you actually hear him chanting something to himself. Sounds like Russian. For the two Russian speakers in here, it's not Russian.
I mean,
The
the two Russian speakers over here
speakers
have their ears covered.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, Grace, it sounds like Russian. It's not Russian.
But she's heard Russian before from her grandfather, so she does at least know what the sound of it is.
Jesus Christ. 3 people that...
And
Everybody speak Russian.
Right?
But the Russian girl doesn't speak Russian.
he goes faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. To a point in which from the stump that used to be his arm, you see a little sproutling of a tree form. A little sproutling that quickly turns into a branch. Boris starts yelling his lungs out.
Can I roll willpower to not show my flinch because it's very sudden and loud?
Roll me 2 things actually. Roll me
Okay.
first of all your stamina, because you're like maybe 2 feet apart from him.
Fair enough.
And that was unexpected and sudden.
Heyo!
You fall flat on your ass, grabbing your ears for dear life.
Now I'm going to cover my ears.
And
That's
roll me your willpower to see if you get knocked off or not.
Okay.
Like pass out or not. That was scary.
It's scary, guys. Give me a second. I'm trying to find her willpower. Oh, I have a lot of willpower. Let's see if it actually rolls well. It did roll well.
Ooh, surprisingly. Yeah, so you fall flat on your ass from the shock. Cover your ears up properly this time and manage to sit up. What the 3 of you see is that little sproutling on Boris's arm quickly turns into a branch. That branch quickly takes the shape of an arm. Boris is yelling. Even with your ears covered properly, it's discomforting. There's this very loud scream of pain. It almost doesn't sound human. And yeah, that huge branch that's formed quickly takes the shape of an arm, of Boris's arm, and slowly, as the screaming gets isn't that loud anymore, so he probably runs out of breath at some point. You see the bits of bark falling off of it and revealing a brand new arm, tattoos and everything. And once the last bit of bark has fallen off, he stops screaming and basically gestures to all 3 of you that it's safe to uncover your ears now. And he looks at Grace and says, "You cheat."
I did not.
Manipulation subterfuge?
No, it's not a good lie. I'm not even going to try.
And Boris says, "Then why you fall on your ass?"
I was worried about you.
I just looked at the Mage chat. I shouldn't have. No, but it's not like Deadpool-esque. It grows to its full size rather quickly.
I'm making a joke.
I know, but Jesus. Oh. Yeah. And yeah, Boris sits up like a motherfucking alley cat, completely healed, and he puts his makeshift crutch on his shoulder.
She'll hand him his knife.
He wipes it on his pants and just like shoves it back into his boot. Looks at Grace and says, "Thank you for the help. I hope you never have to do this for yourself. It hurts."
Explains the yelling.
Oh no, I did that only for dramatic effect. He just like bursts out laughing.
Well then. What language was that?
Old language used in the mother country before Russian.
Kind of like Old English, but Russian instead?
I believe people call it Slavonic.
Oh, I've heard of that. Okay.
It's very old. It's very powerful. And he looks at Grace and just says, learn Russian first. Then we talk.
She nods. I'm going to learn it.
And
Sign up
unless
for classes if I have to.
have Ava teach you. Or James teach you.
Alva's already said she didn't want to. But if James is willing, that would be fine.
If you want to pay him, I can show you where I stash my vodka. He looks at James with this, like,
Don't make the transaction that dirty.
my vodka, my gentry, my rules.
Yes, I'll teach you. So,
Thank
Boris, good hunting?
$40 dead.
How many? Sorry.
40 dead.
Good hunt.
Project Valkyrie is dead. And yeah, unless someone intervenes, he's gonna put his crutch on his shoulder. After he actually no puts his crutch on his shoulder, he hangs his coat and his shirt from the end of the crutch and just like walks away.
Just to clarify this, because I didn't actually hear any of that sass.
No, it's fine. I didn't speak very loudly, so it's fine.
I mean, if you were clearly trying to say something, though, at the same time the conversation was happening, she'll kind of pause and look at the two of them, and she's like, I wasn't trying to create a competition. You just said you didn't want to.
I'm sure we can both do it.
I'm sure it'll be very weird anyways. I mean, I know Spanish, and I know English. But I guess I just never bothered to learn Russian like, well, my grandpa knows.
I can probably teach you faster. No offense, James.
None taken.
I am good with minds, after all.
And James will actually go to catch up with Boris real quick. Wait, what did you mean Project Valkyrie was dead?
I found different main place for this project. I killed them all.
You mean the project that cloned Ava?
Is that within earshot?
Yep.
Oh.
He nods. Yes.
Did you happen to take any files? Anything that we can look over?
No. I burned everything.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
You killed them all?
She looks at Ava and says, yes.
How many?
I said
Sorry, what did you say?
He said he killed 40.
They were all me.
I killed technocrats, not broken toys. I set fire to their cocoons. Did not sit to look what was in there.
Ava looks like she is about to either throw up or pass out, one of the two.
Looks at Ava and says, "Are they gone?"
Yes.
Are they gone?
Yes!
Good. I was sure you would do right thing.
No. This is not right, and this is not the right thing.
Maybe it's better if you let James kill them in the first place. Now you got attached.
I'm gonna make a willpower roll. There's a 10 there, so the bottle in her hand twitches as she slightly raises it and then lowers it down again. So Ava's normally not an aggressive person, else I would not have made a willpower roll at all.
Boris notices that. Actually, no, I'm gonna roll for Boris. Let's see. Have his read somewhere. There we go. Let's see to see if he catches that. Yeah, I'm willing to say he caught it.
Yeah.
Boris puts his crutch down and goes up to Eva. And he bends his knees a little just so their faces meet at the same level.
You can probably smell the alcohol.
This is Boris we're talking about.
Mm.
There's a certain degree of immunity to that smell. And tolerance to that smell. And says, "You want to hit me, Levochka?"
You're making it really hard not to. I thought I knew you better. I trusted you. Can you say these things?
You know, I am right. Just don't want to admit.
Not right. They are victims. They need our help. If only so that they can live their lives normally without this kind of shit.
They are the technocracy's broken toys.
They're no toys. They're living, breathing, thinking, fearing human beings.
No,
Yes.
human beings have soul. She looks down at the bottle in her hand and says, hit me if that's what you want.
I don't want to. I don't want any of this. Neither did they. Someone has to stand up for them.
James will step beside the two of them.
He gets the death stare from Boris.
He'll withstand he'll stay there with the death stare. Perhaps it would be better if we saved this conversation for another day. He looks at Boris, and he looks pointedly to the bottle.
Perhaps.
Why?
Because you're drunk.
So? Afraid I'll do something stupid again?
No.
Yes.
People don't make wise decisions usually when they're drinking.
Well, I don't make wise decisions when I'm sober, so maybe this will be a game changer.
I don't think it works that way. Hager's just like, I don't think it works that way.
Hashtag drunken logic.
James will look at Appa. Believe me when I tell you, you've had too much.
I don't care.
I do. You need rest, and you need sleep.
And you need to roll me strangeness.
Oh boy.
But rest and sleep are the most important parts of that.
Yes, yes, of course they are.
RT difficulty 6. Okay. One success.
One success?
One success.
The bottle in your hand just flies out of your hand, smacks Boris across
no.
the face, and shatters in a very, very, very fine mist.
Big eyes? What the fuck?
Boris doesn't even blink. But you see there's a big cut on his cheek.
Ava kind of clasps her hand in front of her mouth as she looks. Her eyes definitely wide. I didn't do that. didn't do that.
Boris touches his cheek. Looks at the blood on his fingers. Muffles something under his breath. And the wound closes. He looks Ava dead in the eye. If only looks could kill. And says, but you wanted to.
But I didn't. I didn't do it. That wasn't me, please. I'm
Boris,
sorry. That wasn't me.
Boris, you tried to hit her yesterday. Or you wanted to. So you can't hold that over her head.
Boris turns to Grace. She gets the death stare.
She gives it right, not a death stare, but she meets his eyes. She's not backing down from this because she saw him lift his hand to her and then did not actually hit.
And she looks at Grace. He looks at Grace and says, yes, you're right. But I stopped.
That wasn't a normal hit. Since when does a bottle turn to mist?
Looks at Grace and says, yes. You think it's magic?
Clearly. But that doesn't sound like normal magic.
Magic. I didn't use magic. I didn't do it.
Yeah, Boris picks up his things and walks away.
I was just gonna say, do you want me to roll for soft-hearted as well?
Why are you reminding me of all of your flaws?
Why are you making me use all of them?
Fair enough. Okay, let's make it a bouquet.
Ugh.
Willpower defeat.
That's a fail.
As compared, wasn't yesterday that had the botch?
Yesterday was a botch. This is a fail. You run away to the furthest corner of this temple. Just run away from everything.
Yep.
And Grace just heaves a very loud sigh. Looks at James, because they're the only two left of this clusterfuck.
You take Ava. I'll take Boris.
I'm not sure she's listening to me. I tried earlier. I could try again, though. She shrugs and tries to starts walking very slowly over to Ava in a very non-intimidating way because, well, since she just ran, it kind of gets the idea of fear of some sort. So
3 successes on my deck stealth. 3 6 on my deck stealth.
Okay. She'll attempt to find you then. Let me try to roll my perception alertness.
And
I got 1.
No, you can't find her.
And James will
She'll keep looking for a while.
catch up with Boris.
Boris is just like slowly strolling towards the portal, so it doesn't even take an effort to catch up.
In rush. That could have been handled better, Uncle.
Responds in reverse. And in return, Jesus. In Russian as well. It says, hard lessons are taught in a hard manner. That's how they stick.
I tend to agree with you. It would have been better if I just shot them the day that they'd come.
It would have been better to not drag them in the chantry in the first place.
We were under duress.
You could have shot one and left her there, so the police can find her.
He nods. You should. Hard lessons do need to be learned the hard way, but you should be careful. They can break those they're taught to.
We are like the willow. We do not break easily. And we bend further than we think.
We do.
And then there's a bit of smile on Boris's face. It says, "Heard you killed some of the technocrats."
3 of them. Or 4. I don't remember.
Very well. Less vodka, more balls. We're gonna kill even more.
I'm working on it.
But I need to go and sleep. And he waves his newly regrown arm in front of you and says, "This took effort and energy."
I understand. Don't hold this against her.
Boris just walks away. Goes to his room. Falls on the bed. Falls asleep.
Okay.
Yeah, Grace has spent the whole time looking, apparently, just looking for Abba. So.
Yeah, she is hidden as well as she can. As far as I'm concerned, you can make another dex stealth roll, but yeah, whatever
Perception,
you want.
alertness. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, perception alertness. Yeah, sorry.
I'll try one more time. I mean, why not? Okay. If detail-oriented counts, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It wouldn't count, but still, that's 5 successes.
It's still 5.
Yeah,
so.
You can find her. Like when you go back and you walk to the statues, which are literally like the furthest away from the entrance. And you start, and it's basically the place where she has been sitting before, so it makes sense that she ran there. When you start looking around, there's one of them that at the back of it has like a small kind of almost cave in, like a hole in it, where she crept into.
Okay. Yeah. This is probably a little bit after. It probably took, since it took a second roll, it probably took pretty much till the time you were done talking for her to figure this out. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, she was kind of wandering and looking, and finally sees like her feet sticking out or something, and just a little bit, and just kind of slowly walks over there, and doesn't sit directly in front of that little cave or whatever thing, but she'll sit sort of off to the side so that she's not trapping Ava in there, you know? But you can still see her sitting there, like, just kind of looking at you.
At some point, Ava will kind of look up. I didn't do it.
What happened?
Don't know. Please, just leave me.
I'll tell you what. I won't make you talk. But I'm going to stay with you, okay?
I really wish to be alone right now.
Pretend I'm not here.
Please.
I've got a book. You don't need to be alone right now. That's the problem. I'm okay with respecting your wishes, and that's all good. But I think this is a bad time for you to be alone.
I'm so tired of it all.
All the tough questions, all of the attacks, defending ourselves, the dealing with your sisters.
Yes, all of that.
What would you? Do you have any idea of something that might help with it?
No.
Because, I mean, I don't see many solutions either. If you run away, you're in danger. More danger than you are here. If you stay, you have to face up to your problems.
I know.
Which is the bigger risk for you?
Look, I know. I just wished for moments that things weren't the way they are. Okay?
I understand. I think you're not the only one. The hard questions always suck. In this case, most of us don't ever expect to have to deal with our clones.
Oh. I'm tired. I should go to bed.
If that's what you want.
Yeah.
Can I at least make sure you get up the stairs okay? Considering the amount of alcohol you've gone through? As she kind of holds up her bag and you can hear the glass, clinking against itself.
Sure.
Okay. And she'll, scoot back a couple of steps just to make it a little easier if you want to crawl out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She'll crawl out and Slowly starts making her way back through the portal.
With Grace following. Just to make sure she at least gets up the steps okay.
I guess we can end the scene there.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, SD, for SDing and for Borising. And we'll see you again at another scene of Living World of Darkness, the Mage venue.